Hello and welcome to this video on a topic that is so important for bass players as well as their musical colleagues that we just can't afford to ignore that topic, and that is timing. If your timing is no good, you're just not going to get any gigs, or at least you won't get very many gigs, and they certainly won't be good gigs. So timing is an issue that we can address, and there are certain elements that can be fixed, and I'm hoping with this video that I can help you with that. We're going to look at some very basic yet very important stuff. The rudiments are certainly where it's at when you're looking at timing issues. I'm going to address two basic things. One is string crossing, so that's going, just across the string, so that's with your plucking hand and coordinating with your fretting hand. And the other thing, of course, is position shift. So if you've got to go up and down the neck quickly, that also could cause timing issues or timing errors. But before we do any of that, you also need to realize that you have to know where you're going, which string you're going to, which fret you're going to. Even if you don't know the note, you need to sort of know which fret you're going to go to. So that prior knowledge is going to help you, at least in 80% of the cases, to reduce your timing issues. So if you don't know what fret you're going to go to next, at least, a split second beforehand, or what the note is, or which string you're going to, well, then you've automatically got timing issues. So just make sure you know all of that before you even attempt to play a piece which could cause timing issues. Okay, let's have a look at string crossings first. What we really need to do, this goes for lots of our stuff in fact, is we need to be able to play stuff or practice stuff faster than what we think we'll need it on a gig. So imagine if you've practiced it faster than you think you'll ever need it, well then you're way ahead, because you go to the gig and you can be relaxed. It's very much a mental issue, because you can be relaxed, you've got confidence. You go, yes, I've practiced this at 200 beats per minute, and we're never going to play anything faster than 160 beats per minute, for example, So that is also important with your practice. Don't be afraid to practice fast. Often you have to get there slowly, but just keep a certain speed as a goal that you're heading towards. Okay, let's have a look at string crossings. I'm going to start now with the little finger, and I'm just going to cross from the A string to the E string, and we'll do that with, just better turn up some volume here. Oh yeah, that's there. Okay, so I'll do that with all four fingers on the string, on the A string, very light touch, not squeezing too hard, because that's automatically going to, cause timing delays. So what I'm going to do is go quickly. Actually, I won't even use the right-handed oar right now. We'll just jump like that. Notice it's just a slapping effect. Okay, just going from the A string to the E string. In this case, I'm on the 7th fret, just behind the fret wire there. Okay, so you need to, we're looking at isolation now, you need to get one hand working well before you maybe even use the other hand. And now I can try, I'm just going to mute the strings, now I can try using only the right hand. I've got two options here, maybe three options. I can rake across using one finger, so da-dum, da-dum, so I'm using the one finger now. I could use another finger. So it's just using one finger raking across, or I can alternate fingers. I could go shorter finger, longer finger. A little bit awkward sometimes, or longer finger, so that's the second finger. Going to the first finger, to the index finger. So look at my right hand. That's probably more appropriate. These are things you need to work out. So when you're looking at string crossings, look at what fingerings you're going to use. There are various possibilities, so you need to sort of work that stuff out. So I'm going to use now, again, just the little finger of the left hand, and in this case I'm going to use 2-1 in the right hand. Okay? Simple as that. It might seem simple, but if you can't do that, just practice it. Get it up to speed. Get it faster than you think you'll ever need it. And of course the same then applies to other strings. So this first time there I didn't hit the D string quite strong enough with my right hand. Second time I did straight away. So these are things that you've also got to be aware of when you're practicing. Always think back, what did I do there? How can I correct that? Don't practice the same mistake all the time. practice thoughtfully, really intelligently, then you're moving along quite well. So that's basically left hand and right hand coordination for string crossings. Okay, so just make sure you get those jumps, and of course you can then do it with just one finger like that, or another finger. It doesn't really matter, as long as you can do it with all four fingers. In that case I use one finger of the right hand only, so raked across. Practice different possibilities. Be aware of what you're doing. All of these things, this awareness is going to make you a better player. You'll be able to adapt to certain situations. Okay, so that was string crossing, right hand, left hand coordination in one position. Now, let's have a look at position shifts. A lot of the times bass players have problems when going from, a lower position to a higher position. The main problem there is in fact not so much the physical issue. Again, it's a mental thing and preparedness, a mental visual thing. You've got to know and see where you're going. So for example, if I'm going from the 3rd fret to the 7th fret, let's say from the C to the E, I've got to choose what finger I'm going to use. Will I use first finger to first finger? That's good for slides, that type of thing. But what's really important is I've got to see where I'm going. I'm not looking at where I'm coming from. I look at that spot to start with, but soon after I look at where I'm going. That's really important. Like when you're driving a car, when you're walking, you're not looking straight down, you're looking ahead. Really, really important, the visual thing. Okay, so that was with one finger sort of sliding, but I can use, ideally, if that's all I need, I can use the 2 outside fingers. So I can go first finger to 4th finger, and then I've got less of a shift. So that's ta-tum. It's quite fast, and you probably don't need ever to do it faster than that. Now, what's really important with that, with position shifting, is if you're shifting on the same string, alternating your plucking hand fingers. You can get a certain speed with just one finger. You can get quite fast with just one finger, but ideally you'll also should be able to alternate right hand fingers. 2 is usually enough, of course, so do 1 2 or 2 1 in the right hand, so that was 1 2 or 2 1, as long as you alternate. That's really, really important. So going up and down through positions, and then you can just play riffs where position shifts are involved, and then just isolate that. Like if I've got a riff here and I'm going to go there, and the timing is not working, all I need to do is isolate the position shift, right? So don't practice the riff from the beginning again. Practice that segment that's critical. So practice the critical segments. You're wasting time if you practice the easy bits. Focus on the difficult bits. Then again, you're practicing intelligently. Okay, now I'll give you an example of a bit of both. I'm going to play part of the I Feel Good riff, the James Brown song, which is in D, and it goes from D to G. I'll just play that segment. I'll just play the riff once in D and then jump to the low G. So that's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that one there? So that is essentially going, I'll slow it down. Okay, so we've got, let's have a look at the last note in this riff on the D, in the D position, and the first note in the G. So that's it there. You're going from the 4th finger to the 1st finger. So that's very similar. As a matter of fact, it's the same position shift that I pointed out before, except it's going backwards to the left. Okay, so going from the 4th to the 1st. And then if that's not happening for you, then you isolate that. Then you go, okay, 4th finger here on the A, 1st finger on the G. Again, do it as fast as you possibly can. Do it 100 times, do it 1,000 times. Whatever it takes. That's really important. Just keep at it. Okay? Now another thing, if you wind this video back, you'll actually see that I'm strictly alternating right hand fingers, and that gets me in the best positioning with my right hand to use the longer finger for the notes that's higher up in pitch, and the shorter finger, the index finger, for the note that's lower down. Okay? So I'm going to actually wrap up this video here because there's probably much more information than you might at first perceive.